So basically, the first part, I'm going to talk about something that is very clear for us, and is that we are talking about improving our supply chain processes, and high-quality supply chain processes require high-quality ERP data, okay? Because data is the core of our processes, and if we don't have good ERP data, then we're going to have issues in our processes, okay? I'm going to start by talking about these three numbers. They are not the numbers I'm playing in the lottery this year, okay? These are numbers from a recent study in the States. They were surveying STM managers, and about different topics. And these were three numbers that really captured my attention. And it's that when they asked them what was the level of inefficiency that they have in their processes, okay? If they could score from from 0 to from 1 to 10, how big was the inefficiency in their processes? On average, 50% recognize that they have inefficient STM processes and that they have not improved the processes as they wanted, okay? This is a big number for me. At the same time, there is a new trend, and they were saying that the business was demanding supply chain not to be just a cost reduction activity, but an added value for the business, okay? That they have to become more strategic. So they have to reduce cost, they have to add more value, and this is the one that really captured my attention. All of them recognize that 80% of them recognize that their current ERP was stopping innovation because it was too rigid, okay, to allow them to implement continuous improvement at the speed that they need. If you think about ERPs like SAP or Oracle or whatever, each time you need to make an improvement, you have to go to IT, you have to ask for a cost, it's going to be 5, 6 months, 7 months, whatever. Then when you implement it and you realize you need more change, you have to get back and again and again. So they were basically, they are wearing a straitjacket that is not allowing them to improve as they want, okay? And the point is that if we think about what is the root of most of the problems in our ERP system, we will realize that it's not really the process itself. So sometimes it's the data. If we think about our operations, and we think about a classic supply chain process, okay, where we have our vendors and suppliers delivering to our warehouse, we are, passing this and replenishing our manufacturing operations, we are getting back, finished or semi-finished good and delivering to our customers. Of course, this can change. If we are a distributing company, we will not have, we are not manufacturing, we are just receiving and delivering. If we are an automotive company, we don't have warehouse, okay, we are producing just in time. So this can, just feel free to eliminate boxes from that diagram. We have all these steps, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong here, okay? For example, we can have a lot of operational problems. We can have issues with our suppliers. If we order with wrong, because in our system we have wrong delivery times from our vendors, we can order thinking that it's going to be on time and it will be late, okay? Or we can order the wrong SKUs, thinking that, is the right one. We can order with wrong addresses and we can end with, trucks arriving to the wrong factory or, the right factory but the wrong place, and we have a lot of rework and all this noise in our processes. We can have all these issues in our warehouse with wrong locations, materials that that get spoiled because they are not in the right type of warehouse, etc. Of course, all the interruptions we can have in our daily operations because problems with the bill of materials, errors, replenishment our production line, etc. And of course, the worst one, the ones that affect our customers. Okay, what if you deliver to the wrong address? You are delivering late. Okay. So the customer and the service level that you're providing to your customer will be an issue. But if we realize, all this is basically, each time any of these problems appears, our people is firefighting around the place, okay? How many times your people is saying, I cannot improve my processes because I'm too busy fixing issues, okay? And that is a big problem that we have in our organizations right now. And these operational problems are affecting our decisions because we are taking our decision based in our actions that we take in our system. So we are taking our decision based in these operations. So the problem is that when we have operational problems, this is leading us to suboptimal decisions. Okay, and at the end of the day, this is costing us money. Okay, lost opportunities, of course, and and we have to rectify mistakes. But the core issue here probably is that we are firefighting a lot around our processes because we have ERP data behind. And organizations like Gartner or Forrester, in recent research, they state that on average, a company has 25% of what they call dirty data, either incomplete, duplicate, or just wrong. Okay? I think that this number is quite low. Because I talked with a lot of customers, and all of them told me it's more than that. It's 30, it's 40, okay? But let's take 25. The problem is that 25% of dirty data is flowing up into our operations, okay? And it's affecting our operations. And probably we are firefighting, across all our processes because we have problems in our core data in our system, okay? And this is also what is affecting our decisions. And this is a quite horror story right now, but it's going to get worse. Why? Because businesses are getting more complex. We are getting into more segmentation, more product lines, more markets, more collaboration, and the number of data that we're managing in our ERP system is growing. Indeed, the research say that more or less we are increasing 50% per year. That means that you are duplicating every 2 years. So just imagine what is a very problematic situation right now is only going to get worse. Okay? So this is the core that we have right now. And think that what we have right now is that in supply chain, if we think about time and money, we're constantly being asked to reduce the cost, okay? Keep it as cheap as possible, but also supply chain is requested to increase the service level, okay? They are requesting you that, hey, you have to be more strategic. If we want to beat the competition, we need to differentiate ourselves. We need to do things better than our competition. So we have to, to manage at the same time that, reduce cost and increase services. At the same time that we have all those firefighting around the place. At the end of the day, and this is something that all of us are suffering, we are demanded to do more with less and better on a constantly basis. And that is a problem. How are we going to achieve this? Let me illustrate with a situation. One of our customers is a Fortune 500 company, it's an oil and gas operation. Their operation is slightly different than the one that we have seen. They do not have proper warehouse, etc., but they were basically just, they have all these locations where they are doing their operations. We are thinking about heavy machinery locations. And the problem that they have is that they have a team that was managing all the spare parts, okay? Just think about, big machinery, how many spare parts you need. When you have an unexpected, issue and you have to change that, each minute, each hour that the machinery is not working means money because you cannot produce as you are supposed to. The problem they have is that they could not really improve their processes. They were in firefighting mode constantly, okay? And the kind of stories that you heard from them were, amazing. They told you about that, we were so busy that we could not check when we are creating with new vendors the new materials and we were creating duplicates. And then we have exactly the same spare part with 5 different codes, 5 different names in the warehouse. And then suddenly in Alaska, in one place, we have a downtime and we need a specific piece. And we didn't realize we have it in the warehouse. And we have to take one from, Texas and flow it to Alaska with a very high cost. All these kind of things were really happening to them. At the end, each time they have an issue, it was potentially a stop or a reduction of their capacity. So they have all these problems. And what did they achieve with Winshuttle? Well, they started with our solutions, and with our solution, what they achieved was that first they could free up resources because they could be more productive. Okay. Initially, they were able with our solutions to integrate Excel and SAP to reduce a lot of the volume work that they were doing. So that means that with the same team, after 9 months, they were covering the volume 7 times the volume they were covering because the same team was expanded to other locations. Okay, that is great because you are more productive. And thanks to this increase in the productivity, they were able to start thinking about how to improve their processes. And then is when the second part of our solution came into place, streamlining their processes and allowing them to have collaborative workflow processes to gather information across the different business units, across the different participants, and at the end, update, modify their ERP system. And this is when they realize that they have direct and indirect benefits. Direct benefits, of course, more volume of work. They are more productivity. Yoo-hoo! I don't need to have more headcount. They have the same team. They don't need, to increase the volume of the team. Less issues. That was great because that means that they have less stops, okay, in production. But the great part, and this is where the business saw the real benefit, and this is where they were really adding value, because this was just keeping the cost down. But here is where they were adding value. Well, they have time to start thinking about improving processes. Something that is in the past with the firefighting mode was totally unrealistic.